Good evening, everybody. This is Morbid. You're listening to the Dreamin, the Pulpit podcast, the official podcast for DreaminDemon.com. And tonight with me, as always, I have Jaded and Pagan.
Hi.
Hey, everybody.
You sound so perky.
I'm happy.
Yeah, his attitude's like 20 points higher than I am right now. Thanks for everybody who's actually turning out on a Saturday night to listen to us babble about the latest, or at least the top crime stories on DreaminDemon.com for the last week. We got a couple interesting ones, but some of them, there's not really much to say about them. However, if we get done kind of early, I have a very interesting live stream going on right now with another channel. And I know you two don't keep up with YouTube personalities or anything to that. Or I mean, some of the in real life streamers out there. So
not at all.
I'm not going to give you an education on it because it doesn't fucking matter. All that matters is right now, currently, there is a mentally ill older white girl named Corrine, and she is currently in Compton doing an in real life stream, being directed where to go by a group of people who are hoping some shit happens to her. And she has her text-to-speech on her phone. And if you're not familiar with in real life streamers or IRL streamers, they will occasionally leave their TTS on their phone so that people can donate what they want the phone to say. So you can imagine what people are having that phone say as she's in Compton. So I was...
okay.
Yeah, right. So I was watching some of it earlier, and the cringe, it almost gave me a fucking anxiety attack. She was in a Compton Walmart, and people were sending stuff to her phone that, you can imagine what they're sending. So we may switch over to it with the forewarning that it is obviously, subject matter wise, if you're easily offended, I would switch off at that point because I'm pretty sure it'll be fairly racial. So, but anyway, we may switch back over there just to see how she's doing. I think everybody's counting on her getting her ass kicked.
Probably.
Let's see here. We'll go ahead and jump into some of them here real quick. I want to get some of these out of the way. We have this young lady here. There's not really much to say about her, but her mugshot was pretty awesome.
Best ever.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, that lady. I don't even know her name, but really not much to say about her. And in all honesty, I only posted it because the mugshot was awesome.
Her name is Carol.
Carol what? Do you remember?
Fowler.
She was a councilwoman. What state is that in? Kansas?
Kansas.
She's a councilwoman out of Kansas, and by councilwoman, supposedly she won a seat on the city council by she got 2 votes. So maybe it's a small town or something. I didn't really do any research.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, once again, who cares about all that? But she had a warrant out, I guess, for public intoxication. And when they went to go serve the warrant on her, it ended up with this mugshot because she put up a pretty good fight, not only with the arresting officers, but when they got her down to the jail, it took them like 2 days to book her. And this was the mugshot they got of her. And she actually attacked or got into a fight with a corrections officer while she was at the jail. Bit him, I think, is what it was. Bit him in the thumb or something. So anyway, so now she's facing a shitload of charges over the public intoxication one. But
she actually broke the bone in his thumb.
Oh, is that what it was? I don't remember. Yeah, you guys have to help me out here. If you guys can pull up some of these updates. I haven't updated it. I haven't looked.
Oh.
So she chewed down on it really good. Look at her.
You know what that face instantly when I saw it reminds me? It was a flashback. When I was a kid, we used to do this stupid game where we would go under. This was back in the days where people actually all had window units for air conditioners. And there was a stupid game you'd play. It wasn't even a game. I don't even know what the fuck it was. But you would throw rocks at people's air conditioning units just to be assholes or whatever. And I remember being a little kid, and we were doing this to this mean guy that lived between me and Pagan. We were throwing rocks or something at it, and actually hiding under it, like I guess kid logic. I don't know why we did that, but anyway, he started screaming, and I remember I looked up from under the air conditioning unit and looked at the top part of the window, and that's the fucking face I saw, except it had a big beard. He was that fucking pissed, and he actually ran out and chased us down and grabbed us by our shirts and drug us back to my mom.
And my mom.
And your mom, but that's what his face looked like, exactly like that. It was probably the maddest I had ever seen anybody at that point in my life. That guy, and then I see this face again, and this lady right here.
See, now I kind of thought it looked like something out of an anal porn shot.
No, this reminds me of when Trump won. The people that were outside. The people that were outside with the sign screaming no.
Yeah.
Insanity.
I mean,
crazy.
Yeah. I mean, she's just super pissed. You can tell she's drunk, she's pissed, and she's ready to chew on something else.
Well, that's the thing. I don't even think she was drunk. Well, maybe she was. Maybe that would explain something.
She went. Isn't she your manager?
She was under the influence of something.
I think she's just crazy.
Well, she lives in Kansas.
No, that's true.
That'll do it to anybody.
We had another story. I think we've had a couple like this before. Poisoning story where a little kid was trying to get rid of her little brother. And this one was out of Kentucky. 12-year-old. She was basically putting Mr. Clean in her 4-year-old brother's water. And the weird thing wasn't even the poison part. I mean, it's obviously odd that she would do that, but the odd thing was how she got caught. She was actually Skyping with a man in Texas, and her mom saw the text. But in the Skype messages, she basically told this other dude. They call him a man, so I don't know if it was how old that man was, but she had actually said what she was going to do. So she saw it, and sure enough, she had put Mr. Clean in the little kid's water, and I mean, he's fine. He got sick, but he's okay. But they charged her with attempted murder.
God dang, that's pretty stiff. Well, she should be.
We had something like this before, and I think I linked it. I did. I don't know if you remember this one, Jaded, but I thought maybe you had actually. I thought maybe you actually wrote that. You did. This was back in 2010, where it was that 13-year-old who. Where she had poisoned select members of her family. You remember this one at all? Do you remember writing that?
Now that I'm looking at it, I do.
She was putting bug spray, rat poison, hand soap, and dog shit in the. She
had a cocktail going.
She just went full gambit.
And yeah, and I still kind of wonder: does mom have no sense of taste or smell?
Yeah, no shit. You'd think eventually somebody would say, God, this food tastes like shit. Hey, look how... You remember when we used to do our articles like that? There was like no line spacing? Why did we do that?
This was actually because we were looking for more content on the front page, and we didn't always have enough information to write a big enough story to get past your fucking wall of text that we were supposed to have to get it to go to the other page. And so we would do... Don't you sniff at me. We would do lots of little stories to get content up on the page. One of the phases we went through.
Can you believe that was almost right there 10 years ago? What's crazy is if I go back to the I'm curious now. We've been doing this for so damn long. All these stories start running together. I wanted to see what the very first article was. April 7th, 2007. And that isn't when we went live. This is when we went to WordPress. I think we'd been around for 3 years prior. Oh, damn. Huh. See, 2006, I guess would have been the first actual WordPress story, and the story ended up being fake. But you remember Zombie Babe?
I do.
I seen she's still on Facebook. I see her every now and then.
And I'm sure Pagan remembers her. Those are about the same
Look
time
at that
period.
blast from the past, Mr. Hugh Howey.
Huey.
Yeah. I bet you he wish I'd delete all these. God damn. We've been around forever. Oh, we did music reviews too. Anyway, okay, I'm getting sidetracked. I could go through all these for. I can go through all these forever.
Yeah, I just want to say I heard a noise where I'm at, and it was a raccoon trying to sneak in on me.
So you've got raccoons. Jaded's got geese, and I got a crazy dog. All making noises today.
And I got this damn raccoon that just ran around the corner of my house, left my garage. Yeah. Okay.
When you start screaming, I'm going to laugh.
Get out of here, you crazy varmint! You trash panda, son of a bitch!
Well, there's this video that's out there of this guy who's like, he goes, he says, check this out. You're not going to believe how many raccoons are out on my front porch. And my God, this guy had like 50 raccoons sitting on his back porch or whatever, front, back, I don't know. But anyways, it was like 50 of them, and he's feeding them like, I don't know what, dog food or something. And they're all sitting there eating, just, very calm, waiting for him to feed them. But the raccoon that I've dealt with here recently is not so nice. And it's just
give him some food.
No, I can't, because it's like a cat, some of the bitch will keep coming back. And actually, one came in one night. I woke up at like 2 a.m. and I came out to smoke me a cigarette. I'm like, oh shit, I left the garage open. And something ran out, and I looked over, and I had this ant stuff, this ant poison. And it's like these little granulars in this plastic container. And somehow it got the lid off and was munching on it. And I don't know if it killed it or what, but I guess not. I guess it's back for more.
Well, there you
Tough
go.
Little bastard.
You know what I think of when I think of raccoons?
What's that?
That little girl right there.
The one I can't see.
I can't
what
either.
you're talking about. Is that the one that got her face eaten off by a raccoon?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, how'd that happen?
It was a pet raccoon though, right?
It's still.
No, but I'm just saying it was a pet raccoon, right?
Yeah, they left her alone with a pet raccoon.
And it was too wild to tame, huh?
Well, I think it was tame. I just think it decided to chew off her face.
There she is. I remember that.
Yeah. Man, it tore her up.
Wow.
When was
they can be vicious, but
2012. Damn, I wonder whatever happened with her. Well, we can always find out real quick. I'm just curious. Oh, yeah, there she is. Oh,
I think Morbid's feeling a little nostalgic this evening.
Well, there she is.
Throwback.
If you want to know what she looks like now, that's what she looks like.
It's only going to take 10 minutes for Pagan and I to see it. So.
I'll leave it up so you can see it. But
okay.
I mean, to have your face chewed off, I mean, and she is trying to hide the side of her face with her hair. But, man, she would have been very pretty. I mean, I'm not saying that she's not pretty now, but I'm just saying you can tell something happened. Has it came up yet?
Yep.
It looks like they
there it is.
Put some type of skin on her where her nose was missing.
It looks like she wasn't quite done with recovery from that part yet.
No, and I probably would lay off the lipstick.
And that was a conniption story. I missed that guy.
Oh, yeah, they've been following her forever. Oh, wow. Yeah, we're going to quit looking at this shit. I guess they did one hell of a job on her then, compared to what she looks like now. Mm-mm-mm. Man, can you imagine that? I wonder what deep-seated hate she has towards her family because they did that.
I thought you were going to say raccoons.
No.
I was going to say probably a lot.
I mean, think about that though. I mean, I don't know how you wouldn't hold some harbor some blame. Well, I mean, they are to blame. They left her alone with the fucking raccoon. But
Well, what happens to parents when they leave their kids alone with a dog that eats up their face?
Well, they usually kill them, don't they?
Depends on the dog.
Yeah, some of them don't have to worry about the guilt they have to feel later from their kids' hatred because they're dead.
Mm-hmm.
And for the first time in all my years of doing this site, I actually posted a story that happened 2 years ago and thought it happened the other day.
That was fucking hilarious. I almost called you just to laugh.
I can't believe I did it.
Because you have done that before.
That's not true.
Yes, it's very true.
Mm-mm.
I recall calling you out on that. And I think even I've done it.
I know you've done it.
Once, maybe. And I know you did it too.
Well, we're going to play it. We're playing it anyway. This was the video, because some people had not seen it. This was the video of the guy that reached into a cell phone store and snatched a 4-year-old girl right in front of her mother. And I know you guys can't see it right yet, but it's pretty quick. Zoink! He just reached in and grabbed her. Anyway, yeah, I had never seen this story, or if I did, I just forgot all about it.
Did you write it before?
Nope, didn't write it at all. And so the date on it was like July the 6th, and so I thought it was I thought it was recent.
We have a lot of people posting in the Facebook group stories years old that we actually even covered on the site. So you got to be really careful if you're pruning them out of the group. No,
this came from a related video because I did another one out of California that day, and at the bottom were their block of related posts, and I saw that, and I clicked it, and it said July 6th. So I was like, fuck. So I just went and started typing it all up, found a video for it and everything, and posted it. And I didn't notice it was 2016 until somebody called me out on Facebook. And I was like, no way. And I went back and looked, and I was like, God damn it.
But damn, that was a ballsy move. I mean, I finally got to see the video, but damn. And he was quick about it, too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It was like he was shopping. All right, here we go. We got a guy that got busted having sex with his neighbor's dog. No, nothing really there. There wasn't really much of the story, except for his neighbor busted him, and he was still fucking the dog when the police showed up.
Need to finish?
I guess so.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
The other one, but we've got so many of those now. Remember when that was a rarity? That was like, oh, hell yeah, another dog fucker.
I remember the first time I wrote that, a pit bull story, somebody fucking a pit bull.
Yeah.
It was like, that was just like the scariest, most terrifying, weirdest thing to me. And now it's like, well.
I just checked back over on Corrine, and she is currently driving. She's asking for locations to go, where to go. So she's not actually walking around anywhere at the moment. So I'm sure you're going to be waiting with bated breath. So I'll keep you informed of what's going on with that.
You are my savior.
The other one was the one that you wrote. This was, which was a shocker in and of itself. I couldn't believe it. Your first one.
Yes, this is what it took to bring me out of retirement.
Yeah, this was the one out of Miami Beach, Florida. The homeless, armless street artist who stabbed a tourist with his feet and a pair of scissors. And I'll let you explain the story, but this guy, he's already kind of a known character in of himself, right? In that area.
Yeah, maybe a little touched as well. But yeah, that's basically all there is to the story. He says the tourist from Chicago came over and punched him in the head. The tourist says, "No, I didn't. I was simply asking him for directions." And yeah, just grabbed a pair of scissors out of his suitcase with his feet, stabbed dude twice in the arm, put the scissors in his waistband, and walked off.
That's talent.
That you're fucking telling you. And just like the guy says, the guy didn't assume that he had been stabbed because, he's looking at a dude with no arms.
He's like, what the fuck just happened?
Pretty much. And so, yeah, that's it. But they had done a piece on him in one of the Florida newspapers about apparently about transient street artists. And I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but I hit on a couple points. He says his mother fed him rat poison for a long time so she could collect insurance on him. He has been stabbed to death 2 times. He had his first child at the age of 8.
And the good part, the good one.
Gloria Estefan has squished out 200 of his babies.
All right.
Yeah.
Now we know the Miami Sound Machine, huh?
Oh, and he's a grandpa.
Aww.
So I really like the whole stab to death twice. I thought that was pretty amazing.
Well, here's some video of him. I found a recent one of him in court over this. It's only 20 seconds long. I'm going to play it because I haven't watched it yet.
Gotten a lot of attention on our Facebook page. A homeless man in South Florida with no arms has been charged with stabbing a tourist from Chicago. Miami Beach police say Jonathan Crenshaw used his feet and a pair of scissors to stab the man in the arm on Tuesday. The victim and a friend had asked the suspect for directions. Crenshaw is a very well-known artist in the area. He paints canvases along a trendy spot on South Beach.
A lot of moisture, tropical moisture.
And I would really be curious to see if I can find video of some of his work. Which I can't. All I can find is his in-court video appearances. I was hoping to find that piece. Oh, here he is. I did find it.
What piece?
Well, no, I mean, just so I can see what he actually paints. But I found a video that was featuring him specifically for what he does. So let's see if I can get it played. I can. Here he is.
He's got his mugshot posted in the forums too, apparently.
Thank you. I got something to do. It'll work out. Thank you.
I'm watching a video right now of him painting with his feet and using his feet to turn the radio on.
I'm looking
Oh,
at
he's got little chicken arms.
Yeah, it's from the rat poison.
But I mean, I thought they were just like gone completely, but they're actually like little chicken arms.
Yeah, they call him Birdman.
Oh, that's why. I get it.
Uh-huh.
I'm a genius. He's like a Tyrannosaurus Rex type of thing.
Yes, he is.
I'm looking at one of his paintings right now. I'd take it. I like the one he's doing right now.
Hey, now, is that a Bud Light he's drinking?
It looks like it. Your favorite.
Out of a fucking can with a foot. That's amazing.
I guess he uses both feet and just raises it up to his mouth and just like rolls backwards.
I kind of liked imagining he did it with one. Thank you. Yeah, I would buy that piece.
Yeah, it's not too bad actually. I kind of like it. I like the shark one. I don't know if he did that though. I think that's just a canvas he's on. Oh, it's a towel. I was like, God damn, if he did that shark, I'm gonna commission this dude.
Wonder what music he's listening to.
I don't know the audio. I don't know if it was me or if the video.
Oh, he likes to listen to Latin music when he does his art.
Oh, Latin music.
Mm-hmm.
Oh well, not bad.
Well,
not as bad as I thought. I mean, my kid couldn't do anything that good. And he's got both
I think
hands.
Gloria Estefan owes him some money.
No, the other way around, right? I mean, he's not raising them.
Well, good Lord, she used him.
For them 200 bibis.
Man meat.
We got Richard Beast Golden out of Jacksonville, Florida. He's the guy that supposedly gouged out a home intruder's eyes. He stuck his fingers in his eye socket so far he touched his brain.
It's gross. That's got eyeball over it. That is nasty.
I don't even think that's possible, though, to be honest with you. I mean, it's not hollow behind your eye socket. So maybe he just touched bone.
Well, you know what? The big mistake was breaking into a guy's place with the, the name Beast.
Well, that's the thing with most home intruders. They don't know their names. You know?
Yeah. I bet old Tim was freaking out.
Yeah, hold on. I got video of this guy. He's pretty funny. Let's see what he says here.
This is where it all began. The crook breaks out this glass door. You can still see the glass is here. To hear what the homeowner inside did to this guy is downright gory. Richard Golden was sitting inside his north side home when he heard glass shatter. How did you describe yourself when I...
Hold on. I gotta hear this guy's opening again.
Hear what the homeowner inside did to this guy?
To hear what this homeowner did to this guy?
Is downright gory. Richard Golden was sitting inside his north side home when he heard glass shatter. How did you describe yourself when I pulled up?
We used to have sound to these videos, and is it just me?
He gave himself that name after a rifle-wielding intruder broke through
I guess. I don't know. I can hear it.
His glass sliding door with the gun and went in to demand money. That's when the fight ensued.
And he hit me in the head with a
downright.
Rifle. And a buddy of mine just happened to come up at just the right time and strike him. And
damn straight.
I made my move. And I grabbed
him. It's funny when I can't hear anything.
Golden says
you guys
he
are
alleged robber Timothy Hinson of Arlington
talking about
in a self-described headlock and poked his fingers into the man's eyes as far as he could.
Yeah, here's the money shot line.
Dropped the clip because I've had training, military training.
He just said, I dropped the clip because I had military training.
And then he was still wearing the chamber though.
Well, they didn't teach him how to use a toothbrush though, did they?
Hey, could have got knocked out in the military, dude. Don't judge. Hold on.
Wasn't dead. I know I wasn't shot. And then the military training took over.
I'm trying to think why anybody would want to break in there. He's got a tarp curtain.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
Fella's brain.
Okay, I done fucked up that line. Hold on, I gotta go back. Here we go.
I fell his brain.
Hold on. I keep putting it in the wrong spot.
I wasn't shot, and then the military training took over. Gouged him in his eyes till I felt his brain.
I gouged him in the eyes till I felt his brains.
Oh my God, deep. After that, Golden says he sat on the bloodied
felt his
Hinson
brain,
until
all right.
police arrived. They say you sat on him till he got there?
I sat on him and gouged him in his eyes until the cops got here.
You were holding him like that the whole time?
Yeah, and beating him with his own gun. I took his own gun away from him and beat him with it.
Golden's arms are still cut up from the scuffle.
Yeah, oh wow. Yeah, he said, and I don't know if he'll get in trouble for that. I know some people in the, some of our commenters were calling the guy an asshole because he admits that he kept gouging him in the eyes until police got there and beating him with his own gun. And some people in the forums were basically calling this guy, he went too far.
What?
Yeah, I know. I didn't see it that way. I say if you break into somebody's house and you're armed with a gun and you get your eyes gouged out and your ass beat by your gun, I mean, that's okay. That's the way it should be, right? I don't get what they think that this guy was supposed to do. Right. He ain't dead.
And if he hadn't done anything, he wouldn't have done enough. Where's the fucking happy medium with you people?
And he says he's frankly not sure why he was targeted, saying he's never seen Hinson before in his life. A sad aspect of this story is the man lost one of his dogs because the gate was left open during all of this, has not been able to find it. Up on the north side, Scott Johnson, Channel 4, the local station.
Okay, Scott Johnson. Yeah, the guy lost his dog in the process because when they went in this house, they left this gate open and his dog ran away. But I haven't looked for an update on that to see if he ever found it. And there's no news stories. I just looked real quick.
No updates.
Not that I could see. And who's going to care about the dog? They just want to care about the eye gouging.
Now, when he says he gouged him out and the guy's eyes are gone now?
I don't know. They didn't give an update on the dude, so I can only go by what he says. But I figured if he touched his brain, I guess you could still pop him back in.
You remember those crazy glasses with the eyes that bucks, they get like on a spring and they bounce around and all that. That's what I'm picturing. Those eyes are just hanging out on veins and shit. I mean,
I was going with Mr. Potato Head myself, but that's better.
Well, I've always been curious that if somebody pulls out your eye or if it pops out for some reason or whatever, but it's still connected by that optical nerve stuff, would you still see, but like your feet? Like if it's hanging down, does it still work?
I guess, unless it's severed.
No, I mean, yeah, I'm saying if it's still connected, it's kind of popped out.
Yeah, sure, why not? I would think,
I just didn't I didn't think that optical nerve stuff was like a bungee cord or something that was just I didn't think it had slack in it. So like, you know what I mean? So I figured if it was hanging on your cheek, whatever part that actually could see or relay that info back to your brain is irreparably damaged. But you know what I'm saying? I didn't know if it was like. If that's something you only see in movies and shit, when you see an eyeball dangling from a vein or whatever, that could only happen in a movie. You know what I mean? Because that vein back there doesn't actually work that way. It's not like it's spooled up like a water hose or something where it's just waiting to spring out or something.
Right. I mean, could he like grab it and move it around with his hand and like, where the hell am I going?
Yeah. He just hold it with his two fingers, going, God damn it,
damn it.
I know that I am not going to sleep tonight until I find out if you can see your feet if your eyeball falls out of your head.
Or like if it was like actually attached like that, could you theoretically, I don't know any feasible purpose for doing it, but like could you actually just hold it and kind of just turn it a little bit backwards and like see a little bit behind you?
Right. Like, or if old Richard pulled it and pointed it to him and said, look what you did to yourself, you dumb son of a bitch. Look what you made me do.
Yeah, I have a sneaking suspicion that's movie. That's movie. So that we're accustomed to seeing like bullet holes and whatnot, like when the eyeball's hanging out of somebody's head. That doesn't actually happen. I'm not saying that it can't bulge out or pop out, but it's not going to just hang there.
Right. And if anybody's out there researching this, let us know.
I'm doing it right fucking now, and I need to know.
Okay. Oh, you're on it.
I need to find something truthful, and not gross, because I don't want to see any brains.
I guess you could just look like the anatomy of the eyeball and see what's actually what's attached behind it that goes back to your brain or wherever the fuck it goes. God damn.
Well, see, this is what I put into Google. Can you see your feet if your eyeballs fall out?
You're stupid.
So, what? It's a legitimate question.
That's gonna be that's gonna be one of them search terms that somebody else somewhere, when they're looking at weird questions on Google, that's gonna come up.
Good.
The funny thing is with this story, you guys, the funny thing is that they had a nice chat while they waited for the police.
What'd they say?
I don't know. He just said we had a nice chat.
There's probably the other guy going, fuck. Get your fingers off my brain. Quit beating me with my gun.
There is such a thing as floppy eyelid syndrome, just so everybody knows, okay?
What's a floppy eyelid syndrome?
Apparently, your eyeballs can fall out your head if you have floppy eyelid syndrome.
Really? Like if your eyelids... Oh, yeah, I guess. Is that what's holding your eye in place? Is your eyelid? That doesn't even make sense.
No, those stringy things are holding your eye in place.
Then what the fuck does that have to do with a floppy eyelid? I would think
I don't know. It was just something that I observed in an article.
Well, I think the bottom of your eyelid, that's a muscle right there. Your bottom one, isn't it? I mean, I guess it has some function of holding it in place. I don't know. I mean, it's like if I
don't know. Let me work on mine for a minute and let me tell you.
Would you? Tell me if you can see your feet. Watch out for that raccoon, though.
I've got a shoehorn over here somewhere. I'm going to pop it out and see what's going on.
Well, I mean, if I hold my eye open, it ain't like I'm in any fear of it just flying out. Although Johnny Knoxville said that on that last movie that they filmed, that he broke his orbital bone, and when he sneezed, his eyeball popped out. So I think it is definitely behind the bone. I'm sitting here feeling around on my own fucking eyeball like an idiot.
Is Pagan really shoehorning his eyeball? Because he got real quiet.
I hope so. I like he's got like a spoon. He's just got a spoon and he's up in there digging around.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I will research this further and maybe have this for you by next week.
Yeah, I'd be curious.
Sounds good.
Jefferson, Georgia. 3 women have been charged after they posted a Snapchat video of an elderly woman suffering a stroke at a senior living facility. Just some more of that sociopathic behavior from today's children.
They thought they were going to get rich with this.
I just don't think they cared. Jordan Bruce, 21, Maya Moss, 21, and Lizeth Ramirez, 19, all worked at the Bentley Senior Living Facility in Jefferson, where a 76-year-old woman suffered a stroke. So they can't do shit about that, so they called a hospice nurse who was going to take some time getting there. So in the meantime, where they were supposed to be closely monitoring the woman, they decided to break out the cell phones and film some funky videos of...
And they were vaping.
They were vaping, using profanities, and
they're having a jolly old time.
Making obscene gestures at the camera.
And poor grandma over there.
Then they posted it to Snapchat with the title called The End. And I think that's probably what got them more than anything. But they posted a title that said The End. And another employee saw it and ratted them out. And now they've all 3 been charged with exploiting an elderly and disabled person.
That's why I never want to go to those places.
And fucked up their careers forever. Over that.
It's McDonald's for them.
Yeah. Let's see some pictures of them here. I thought I had them. Yeah, there they are. So happy.
Badasses, too. I'm telling you what. Those are some threatening ass girls.
Yeah, just that weird sociopathic behavior. That's pretty much with all kids. Except that back when we would have done this, we didn't have anything to post it to. Thank God. Thank God. I only have one video. And I was telling Pagan about this, but one friend of ours had a video camera back in one of those old school back in the day VHS video cameras. And so there's only one video in existence of me at about 22, and we're all fucked up on acid at somebody's apartment. And he broke out the video camera and was filming us. And I got to see it the other night. And thank God, it's so dark, and I actually had my hair then. That you wouldn't probably even tell it was me. But it's a very, very dark video, because obviously it was in a very, very dark apartment. But I keep wanting to get it and see if I can restore it a little bit and brighten it up. Did I tell you were in it too, Pagan? I can't remember if you were in it or not.
Oh, yeah. I was going to get a copy a long time ago, but
it's just not that easy. Not everybody has a capture thing around to capture VHS tapes. So I don't have anything like that. I'd have to actually buy something, and it wasn't that important because it wasn't that good of a video.
Right.
I have to see it.
Clean it up.
Well, I'm saying even if I did clean it up, it's just not that good of a video. It's a lot of Paulina talking very loudly, and that's about it. And then later we were doing something with somebody's. I think that's when old Floyd lived in that back room with that a lizard or a snake or something, and we were fucking around with that, and you could tell that we're so fucked up. But anyway, yeah, I may try to get that one day and see if we can get that cleared up. That would be kind of funny.
I will nag you until I see that video.
All right, I'll see what I can find. There's not.
Come
I don't. I have very, very little pictures of me in those in that time period. I totally stayed away from cameras as much as possible, and I think the only coincidentally really good picture was actually me and Pagan sitting up against a wall in one of our friends' room. And dude, I was wearing that stupid fucking Boston hat.
Oh well, man, if that's a good picture, make me a copy. I don't have any pictures either.
You want to see more of yourself, or you want to see more of me?
You, man. I want to see you.
All right.
With hair.
With hair.
With hair. I done forgot what you look like.
Yeah, I did too.
Except for that one picture that was out there that our good friend posted.
Yeah, I remember somebody did post something, but it was more of a candid shot. You could tell I wanted them to get the fucking camera away from me.
Yeah, it was a side shot.
Yeah, because see, this is the God's honest truth. Growing up, when they came out with America's Most Wanted, which was a very new show. I mean, I know people may not understand this now, seeing as you see things all the time like that. But back then, that show was a brand new concept of them, actively asking for the public's help and putting their picture out and all that other kind of shit. And I personally didn't know where my career was going in the future, but I knew it wasn't going to be good. And I noticed that all these people they were looking for, they would find the most fucked up picture of them to post on there to make them look as bad as possible. And so from that period forward, I just tried not to have my picture taken ever. So if I ever decided to become a notorious serial killer or something, they would have very hard time finding pictures of myself. That's where my mind was back then.
I didn't even know that.
Yep. So there's little pictures of me out there whatsoever. So whatever. Who gives a shit?
Well, yeah, right.
But eventually I'll be sticking a video camera on this, and we're going to be doing video, some video podcasts. Ain't that right, Jaded?
Yeah.
I will end up doing that eventually. I'm very, very, I'm very serious about trying to start up something on Twitch and doing, because everybody knows I play shitloads of video games. So I figured I might actually start up a video game channel. Because we kept talking about where instead of just this, the crime stuff, which is the bread and butter, of course, I'm not going to ditch that ever. And it's the only thing I'm actually interested in writing about. There's no real money in it, and because of the subject matter, we get demonetized on YouTube a lot, and so that means we depend on Patreon people a lot. And if I'm doing really good and I'm consistent with the stories, Patreon does very well. Since I'm the only motherfucker that's writing stories at the moment,
I wrote a goddamn story.
When I take a break or I get burned out, Patreon fucking drops big time when I try to take a break, and I get it. I would do the same damn thing if I am a Patreon to very, very few websites. Lost in Vegas is one. There's a couple other ones that I actually I'm patrons with. But if they were taking like week-long gaps before they posted anything, I would do the same thing. I would stop my donation. So it's not like I don't get why they do it. It's just a catch-22. You're either going to get somebody who actually wants to write the stories, or you're going to get somebody that's writing them because they feel like they have to keep the Patreons going, and the stories are going to reflect that anyway. What I need is people to write.
Yeah, Pagan.
Gotta recruit them. Yeah. Well.
No, we tried the recruitment. Don't get me started.
I got a perfect writer right here on the fucking podcast.
It's Pagan. Pagan just needs to fix his
computer. Next week I'm gonna write one story next week. You let me know if you like it or not.
I will.
But my whole point being is I was thinking about where we could do some a side podcast and touch on some of since aside from the real life horror shit that we deal with, I know especially including Pagan and I know Jaded as well. we do dig our horror movies and our thriller type books, and I think me and Jaded read more than anybody else I know. We read books consistently. Every month I'm reading something. And we used to try to do book reviews, but those ended up being harder to do than just writing a fucking article.
Well, it's like a book report, and I didn't do very well on those in school.
Yeah,
So.
it did really feel like a lot of work. So I figured, well, maybe we can just start going, make them a bridge by basically saying, look, here's the plot of this book. It's good. There, done. And then that would be it. Like just recommendations instead of full-fledged book reviews.
Yeah, that, because it's a lot easier to do that.
And again, I'm not saying I want to go the easy route on everything. It's just mostly it's a time thing. And that's the biggest issue I have over the last, especially the last 3 years or so. It's just time. But anyway, because I know you're reading a good one now, and I'm reading a good one now, and I've read a bunch, and I just haven't had a chance to really go out and recommend them. But I figured, well, why not just do a fucking podcast, and then we don't have to write any articles on it. We can just talk about some of that shit. And if you watch the site or you read the site, you kind of know where the tastes align. You might find some good shit to watch or read. Now, of course, I watch horror movies consistently almost every day. And in fact, Friday the 13th was awesome. And I know you guys don't give a shit about this guy, but Joe Bob Briggs came back for a 24-hour horror movie session on Shudder TV. So I had a blast watching that Friday night.
I couldn't get Shudder to do what it was supposed to do.
Yeah, everybody had problems with it. And I think after 12 o'clock, my time, it was consistently working. And then again today at some point, I think when they started playing Hellraiser, it started fucking up again. But what they did was because of that, they took every movie, and every movie will be available on demand with all the Joe Bob Briggs commentary in it.
Awesome.
So you can go back and watch them.
Awesome.
And they were worth it just for him. I mean, nobody really, to me personally, I'd seen every one of the movies multiple times. It was him that I was looking forward to seeing again because, I mean, that guy, I mean, I wouldn't call him a hero, but he was definitely one of my all-time favorite personalities when I was younger. He was the one that was responsible for introducing me into a lot of the obscure drive-in, low-budget, indie-type horror films was that fucking guy. He's just an awesome guy. So it was great to see him back in. Did you get to see any of it?
No, because if shit doesn't load within like 3 minutes, I'm fucking done with it. And it was just really frustrating, so I gave up.
Yeah, a lot of people were pissed off about it. I felt bad for the Shudder guys because they were really looking forward to this bringing in some subscribers. This was a big deal. This guy hasn't done this in 17 years.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people had planned around that day, viewing parties and everything. So I think what they did was they totally underestimated the draw of Joe Bob Briggs. I don't think they truly grasped how many people wanted to see that fucking guy. And I think it took them a while to scramble to get all them servers up and going, but eventually they did get it working. So hopefully they did so well that they can get him to come back and start doing some type of a series of some type, or maybe come back and do that 24-hour thing every 6 months or something, because I'd be down to watch it. The guy's a fucking encyclopedia of horror knowledge. He's crazy. Anyway, so I figured we can maybe do a side podcast to talk about that kind of stuff. You be down?
I'd be down. I
got some horror guys. I got a horror movie watching group that we sit and watch. In fact, that's what I was doing before we came on here. I'm going to bring it up to them and see if they may be interested in joining in as well. They're young. They're probably in their 20s. So, Pagan, I don't know if you remember back when we used to be really into horror, to where we knew the actors' names and can recite lines out of movies and all that kind of shit.
Oh, yeah.
That's them now, which is funny to see at my age now how we were back then with horror movies. Now, of course, after so many years and so many horror movies, I don't get into them like that, where I'm spouting out actors and producers and all that kind of shit. I just like what I like, and then I'll watch it. Anyway, let me see here. Let's move on to this next one here. This was that poor postal worker in California. Let's see here. Woodland Hills, California. 63-year-old postal worker was found dead in her truck on day temperatures reached 117 degrees. This lady, Peggy Frank, she was a 28-year veteran with the U.S. Postal Service, and she had been out of work for like 2 months for a broken ankle. And on her first day back to fucking work, when temperatures hit 117, she suffered some type. Well, I say that, but they didn't actually come out with how she died. But she was found dead inside of her truck, in that hot ass temperature, and I had no idea that USPS trucks did not have AC in them. Did you?
They're kind of basic.
Well, I knew they were basic, but hell, even a CJ Jeep bare bones has an AC in it, so I just figured that the mail trucks would have them. Especially if you're in a fucking hot area. You know.
I mean, you always see them riding around with the windows down.
Agreed. I just know that where we lived growing up, it was never. I could see it where we grew up. It was never. Yeah, you had some hot summers or whatever, but it wasn't like 10 months of fucking hot weather. You know what I'm saying? So I could kind of understand why they did it, but in California, or like in those types of areas, you would just think that they would just come equipped with them.
Yeah, it's like the people who work for the guys with the big brown trucks. They don't have it either.
No, they're always driving around with the door open.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this is like one of the saddest stories ever. 28 years with the fucking post office of all goddamn places. 2 years left to retirement, and then this happens. That is sad as fuck.
Yeah, and they said that she actually suffered from heat exhaustion last year around this exact same time. Yeah.
Well, maybe they should honor her with a stamp.
Yeah, maybe they. I agree with you, dude. Maybe they should.
Yeah.
And
the proceeds go to her family.
Yeah, or putting some ACs in a couple of them fucking trucks.
Yeah.
I tell you what, man, my fucking power bill for last month was fucking through the roof. My air conditioning here. Now, this house doesn't stay hot, but because of the way it's built, it's got these stupid vaulted ceilings. I say stupid, but I love them. But it's got vaulted ceilings, and that's where my fucking thermostat is. And the AC, it's like a heat pump, AC and heat and all that shit. It's just not big enough to handle consistent hot weather. You know what I mean? Like if you have days of it. And
I do, because
I think your house is the same way.
It's pretty much like we discussed earlier. I mean, it's basically the same layout, which is weird because mine was built in 2004 and yours was built way earlier than that. Way earlier than that.
1932.
Yeah, something like that.
Now I'm going to share a little something with you guys that'll probably piss you off. Where I'm at, we haven't gone over 75.
Wow.
In July.
Well, where I'm at, it's been consistently 90 something with heat index of like one day I looked and it said it was like 98 degrees outside, a heat index of like 123. You know?
I have had 2 days where I didn't have to wear my hoodie or socks.
Oh Lord. Yeah, no, it's not been brutal. We've had worse, but it's not over yet. But I remember worse summers, so it's not been that bad. But that motherfucker doesn't not run. It's running all the damn time, and I just know that my damn power bill is going to go through the roof. And sure enough, I went and paid it today, and I was like, man, god damn, it was like double.
Right. Well, mine was like that the past couple seasons, last summer and too, and but anyways, I spent about 5 G's on a new AC, and it's nice and cool now.
But did it help your power bill?
Oh my God, yes! It cut it in half.
I'm thinking about doing the same thing, but I was kind of looking at and you're looking at about 5,000, like you said. But I'm sitting there thinking, well, how many summers is that going to take before I make my money back? So if I'm paying double, well, no, you're right though. If you're looking at 3 months, so within about 3 years, I guess you could make your money back. No, I'm an idiot. I don't know how to do math. It'd take you about
10 years.
But yeah, you're right. Yeah, goddamn. And I don't know if I'll
But
be
it's
here that
also
long.
it'll probably also help you with the heat too.
No, the heat does fine because I have a one of those wood burning fireplaces that has the blower motors in them, and we just chuck wood in like we're back in the 20s, man, and turn that fucking thing on, and it'll heat the entire house. Now, granted, if time is money, we still have to go get that wood and throw it in the fucking thing. So that, but I do like a good fireplace.
Yeah, but back to the cool. At least you'll be cool.
I'm cool anyway, but you're right. My power bill would probably be a lot lower. It would be a lot lower. Anyway, what do you think? Lawsuit with the USPS with that family?
Of course.
I would pursue it.
Everybody does.
New $3 sauce and loaded fry.
Well, I was going to play a video from that news site, but you know what? Fuck them. They have a big Taco Bell ad or something playing in front of it. Let's go check on Corrine real quick. Oh shit, she's walking around talking. She's talking to somebody. Hold on, let's see what's going on here.
We are going. I love you, God, sir. What is your name? You're amazing.
I told you 5 times.
I know. I forgot. I'm sorry.
Slim.
I'm dumb. Slim, I love you.
Hey, help me out with some change so I can get something to eat.
Okay, I will because I think you deserve food.
Yeah.
I do. I think you need some food. This is like ruthless. This lifestyle. I don't know why. Why do people think it's okay to scream bad words at women? Can you please tell me that? Here. Thank you so much.
Thank you so
much. I gotta try to get out of here. Okay, let's go to the next one. Oh my God, I'm like falling. Water. Oh my God, you can have it, baby. You drink water. I'm bringing water to
She's getting yelled at by people on the street.
By the way, just the last thing, Dr. Dre really needs to give money down here. Shout out to Dr. Dre. And who is it? Ice-T or Ice Cube? Ice Cube or Ice-T? Ice-T or Ice Cube? Okay, and what do I say?
Oh, wow. I think this video is going to get...
It's not okay. It's not okay.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'll probably end up getting this video completely taken off of YouTube by playing what I just played from that. You might just want to go to it yourself. Corrine Forever. If you do a search on that on YouTube, you can keep an eye on her to see if she's getting her ass kicked or not, which it looks like it's headed there. I can't play it, man. They just dropped N-bombs all over the damn place just now. So I'd rather not have the video completely taken down because of somebody else's stream. You know what I mean? Did I just lose both of you guys?
No.
No.
Oh, goddamn.
Just napping.
Oh my God. Did you watch any of it?
All ears.
Yeah, I watched a piece of it. Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
But you see what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yep.
But keep an eye on it. I have a bad feeling about it.
Keep an eye on it and just pop it out.
Yeah. Just pop it out.
Oh yeah, I did that on purpose. Here he goes. This guy. Here's a guy that used
it was pretty,
his kid as a baseball bat.
Yeah, it was pretty nasty.
Mike Ogden shocked and appalled at what his home security camera captured last Thursday. It shows a man holding his 18-month-old son arguing with his girlfriend, and then it took a violent turn.
And he just showed her the baby and just dropped him to the ground. And that was on the concrete.
Ogden says his wife heard the commotion, so they checked their security cameras.
It was gruesome. He just took the baby and was wielding it as a bat and, and then dropped the baby on the ground again.
They called 911 immediately. The video's so shocking, even seasoned police officers had a tough time viewing it.
It catches your breath. It takes your breath away. And then there's anger. And then, as a mother and... it gets you upset.
Police canvassed the neighborhood but turned up nothing. Several hours later, one of the officers, so disturbed by what he saw, returned to search for the suspect and spotted him. He has been identified as 27-year-old Tekuk Danny Lim.
He did admit and said he would probably be going to jail for what he did.
Lim was arrested on child endangerment and domestic abuse charges. He is currently out on $50,000 bail. We visited Lim's home. A woman who answered the door told us he wasn't home and didn't want to comment. But neighbors like Sally Carlos says they are horrified by what they saw on the video.
I mean, it brings tears to my eyes because it's like, how could somebody use your child as a weapon?
Police tell us that that child was treated for minor cuts and bruises and has since been released to his mother. As for the woman in that video, we're told she's being treated as a victim.
So, yeah.
They're looking at passengers.
So, Chris.
Yeah.
I mean, Morbid.
Yeah.
Say his name for me.
Tikuk something. I didn't get the last part. They're calling. They were calling him Mike Ogden, but his name was. Oh no. Tikuk Lim something, and I probably left off his last name. I don't remember. I had to listen to the newscaster say it. I didn't know.
Of course.
Well, how would you pronounce that? To me, it says Tech-Hoke.
Yep, I was about to say.
That's what it says to me too.
Yeah, but it's Tikuk. But anyway, yeah, as the video stated, he was captured on surveillance video swinging throwing his kid on the ground, his 1-year-old kid on the ground, and then using the kid like a bat to hit his girlfriend with it.
Nice.
Which we've had multiple times before.
Yep.
And his mugshot, he's all happy.
I don't think that's his mugshot. That's a driver's license picture.
Oh, okay.
You can always tell by the background.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I think his mugshot was in that video, though. He didn't look that happy. And let's see here. The number one story for the week, which was not a big shocker, was the out of Russia, where a 17-year-old girl has been left sterile after a gang of girls assaulted her and used a shower hose to pump hot water into her vagina. And Russian girls, man, they ruthless.
I don't want to talk about this one. Thank you.
Well, what I can tell, the 17-year-old chick, and I'm not even going to try to pronounce their names. We'll just go with first ones. 17-year-old Sarah was seeing a guy, and the guy's ex-girlfriend, Alexandra, didn't like it and had threatened her to quit seeing her ex-boyfriend because she was pregnant by him. And the 17-year-old, I guess, did not heed the warning. And that's when Alexandra showed up with Christina, Maria, and Anastasia, ages 16, 16, and 20. And the 4 girls ended up shaving the teen's head and then made her perform oral sex on them, then pissed on her. And then they took her into the shower, stripped her, and they inserted a shower hose into her vagina and turned on the water as hot as it would go. And when they left, they stole some money, a laptop, mobile phone, and some other shit. And, of course, they got caught. And the girl, obviously, she survived, but they said that the damage done has left her with the inability to have children. So all 4 of the other girls have been taken into custody, aside from the ringleader, who was on house arrest because of the aforementioned pregnancy. And they are looking at charges of sexual abuse and torture of a minor committed by a gang, and they're all looking at 15 years each if convicted. Oh, and they filmed it.
Prison.
And they filmed it on top of that. So it won't be too hard to convict, I don't guess. I don't know how Russia works in regards to their court systems, but I'm assuming having video of the actual deed's probably not good on their end. Oh, there she is. That's the victim. She don't look bad.
Yeah. No.
And the other chicks, though, there was one that looked really funny. Okay, right there.
Oh, yeah.
That's the ringleader right there. And then you have that's the boyfriend. Boy, they got some rough pickings in Russia. I'd probably kill out there. There's the victim. There is Christina, who looks like she's being held hostage for some type of sex video. And there is a very cute-looking Anastasia, and then you have this girl, Maria.
Whoa.
Look at them fucking eyebrows, bro. Look at that shit, dude. And what's so bad is she's not. You can tell she's probably not a bad-looking girl, but them eyebrows, though. What the fuck's up with them eyebrows, bro?
They look tattooed.
It looks that looks actually seriously, and I know we've seen a shitload of mugshots with some fucked up eyebrows that chicks draw in, but that really looks like a joke, like she's kidding around on camera, and she did that herself with like a magic marker and just did a stripe, didn't try to style it or anything.
You know what it looks like?
What?
It looks like the no arms guy in Florida did it. Hold on. Let me pick you up here.
Hold on there, girl.
Hold on, man. Let me drink. Can you pour this beer in my mouth? Hold on.
Yeah, he's drinking a Bud Light with one foot and doing the eyebrows with the other one.
Gouge your damn eye out.
That's rough looking right there, though.
Oh yeah, she's kind of Eddie Munster, you know.
Yeah, and otherwise she doesn't look that bad. It's just that's the one thing about it. It looks just comical.
Her eyes are kind of weird, though.
I can't quit staring at her though.
Her eyes are almost like alien. You know what I mean? Like,
well, she did her eyelashes where they only have like 5, like 5 fucking eyelash deal. What is that, Jaded? You have to do that. I'm sure you do it too. Where you don't have like eyelashes, you have like a few eyelashes. They're like real thick and clumped together. You look like you were out of a fucking cartoon.
I do not do fucking spider eyes, okay?
Is that what that's called?
Or clumpy. I don't know because I don't do that. I have normal eyelashes.
Right, but spider eyes, where did that come from?
I don't know. It's a term my daughters use. Because they don't like it, whatever it is.
Well, no, that's a very, very good description. I guess I should have come up with that.
They look like spider legs.
They do look like spider legs. They really do.
Yeah.
I've seen it look good on some chicks. I've seen some girls who
spider
looks okay.
eyes?
On some, I've seen it look, when it's done right, this looks like a fucking row of picket fences somewhere. And then on top of her eyebrow, it's just like everything she could fuck up about her eyes, she did.
I mean, she just left it it's like she just shaved the middle part of it or something. Like it was one long brow. And then she took the fucking Gillette and she just went straight down, you know, and just shaved it, you know.
I should have photoshopped this one before I posted it and just connected those to see how many comments we got on it.
I mean, she could at least tapered it a little bit, you know.
Yeah.
Oh my God, we are discussing makeup, you guys.
Just out of curiosity. Why do you guys do this?
Pagan said tapered.
Oh, Jamie knows all about that eye makeup. He was like this big Kiss fanatic. And sometimes in high school, he would actually go in and he'd do the makeup and shit before school. And he'd walk in the homeroom. I'll never forget sitting there. He comes in the homeroom. It's fucking Peter Stanley. And like the Cat Man.
Stanley.
Yeah, remember that shit? You walk in on homeroom dressed up like fucking the Cat Man from Kiss.
Peter Stanley? Did you just call Peter Stanley?
Really just?
I'm sorry. I'm not. I absolutely hate Kiss. I'm sorry. I didn't know the drummer's name and his fucking gay ass Catman makeup. Yeah, he'd come in strutting in with his jean jacket and his fucking Peter Criss looking makeup, and man, it was like I just knew it. In like 10 minutes, sure enough, he's getting his ass kicked in the closet. It was like, fuck, man, why did he come in dressed like Peter Criss again?
Oh man, you know, well, somebody had to do it.
No, they didn't. That was the whole thing. They didn't.
Every school had one.
Yeah, that is true. That is true.
Yeah, I was afraid Ranger Jane was going to kick my ass. You remember that big girl in ROTC?
I was afraid of any girl in ROTC back then. They were all pretty rough. They were pretty tough.
Fuck you. I was in ROTC, man.
That doesn't surprise me one bit.
Every day.
I was only scared of one person in my entire high school.
And it was a dude they called his name. I don't even know what his real name was, but he was known by Satan. And I wasn't scared of him because of his name. He was actually a pretty rough and tumble type of dude. And we all hung in the same circles because we were all a bunch of pot smokers and metalhead type guys. So it wasn't the crowd that we were in. It was the fact I knew he could probably kick my ass. I think he was a couple years older than we were. And but for whatever reason, he had a falling out there were obviously, like any high school, there were cliques, and back in our day, the cliques probably aren't much different than they are today. But it was usually you had the stoner and the metalheads. It was almost like Breakfast Club. You know what? It was like Breakfast Club. You had the stoners and the metalheads. You had the fucking the jocks. You had the cheerleader school spirit rah rah outfit. And then you had the outcasts, and we won't count the LD people, but then you had the outcasts, which back in our day, which were usually, what would you call them, punks? I guess they would be punks back then.
New wave, punkish.
Yeah, but the new wave ones could cross. They actually could blend in with the fucking school spirit people. You remember because they always they tried to dress like Duran Duran and shit, so they could
Boy George.
So they would get in real good with the cheerleading crowd with no problem. Which actually, when you look back on it, that was a really good tactic. Anyway, but my whole point is this guy Satan had a problem with one of the punk guys. He was one of the odder guys in our school, but he used to always walk around with the anarchy symbol. And I don't think anybody back then even knew what that fucking meant. They just knew what it looked like. Kind of like a pentagram, but this was the A, circle A or whatever. And
went right next to their kiss patch.
Right next to the kiss patch. But I actually had an army jacket with that symbol on it somewhere. And I guess he had seen it. So while he had a problem with the fucking other guy, he thought that we were in the same group. And of course I was just putting A on the fucking jacket because I thought it looked cool. I wasn't an anarchist by no means by then. I just was looking to get high or whatever. But when I went to 7-Eleven one time, I was playing pinball, and there was a fucking the glass window was right beside me, and somebody was tapping on the window outside, and I looked out there, and there was this guy 2 years older than me with a baseball bat with all his friends in this fucking muscle car. And he's tapping on the window, and he's telling me to come outside, and he's going to beat my ass with his fucking bat. And I had no idea why this motherfucker was even saying this shit to me whatsoever. And I'm not ashamed to admit, I did not go outside. In fact, I kept playing the pinball machine, smoking my cigarette like I didn't see him. And when they drove off, I went home through the woods scared as shit because I was afraid I was going to get my ass whipped with a bat. And I never did find out what the fuck happened with that. I never ever talked to him or anything, so I never understood exactly why he was wanting to kick my ass.
Yeah, just be happy it didn't happen.
No, because we've seen that happen when somebody gets hit with a fucking baseball bat.
Oh, yeah.
Or a baseball bat, or a baby used as a baseball bat.
Dude, I'll take a baby as a baseball bat over a baseball bat any day because I saw
over that Louisville Slugger.
Dude, I saw what it did to somebody's head and their arm when they raised their arm up to block the shot, and it just fucking cracked his forearm in two. It was, and it sounded like somebody hit a baseball when it happened, especially when it hit his head. Yeah, I don't want to get hit by a bat. That's got to be devastating. I mean, it probably wouldn't kill you. I'll take a baby. They're soft, man.
I really don't want to get hit by a baby.
I didn't say I'm like looking forward to the day it happens. I'm just meaning if I had to choose between somebody swinging a baby at me or a baseball bat, I'm going to choose the baby.
Well, you just think about any time in your life that you've ever bumped your head and how you, damn, ow. And then just imagine that baseball bat hitting your head full force, how that would feel.
If you're lucky, you'll fall out. You're just out. It'll just knock you out, and you won't feel anything until the recovery period. If you have a recovery period.
Yeah, you might have a brain swelling,
or a
hole drilling doctor releasing pressure, probably.
Or a steel plate.
Steel plate.
Yeah, remember that guy in Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2?
Oh yeah.
With the Sonny Bono wig.
Oh yeah.
You ever watch that? Jaded, you ever watch Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2?
Of course I have.
I don't like the movie, honestly, but I do like the scene in the radio station. I thought that was good. Other than that, I may be in the minority with horror fans, but I just don't like that movie. And I tried to watch it recently, and I couldn't even get through it.
You know what?
I didn't
now
like
that I'm thinking about it, those two preppy dorks that were riding in the Mercedes or whatever it was, I think it was a convertible Mercedes. Remember?
Yeah, yeah.
They were on that. They were on the cell phone. Didn't the dork that was doing all the calling and everything? Didn't he have those glasses with the buggy eyes on the spring that I was talking about earlier?
You're close, but no, it wasn't the buggy eyes. He had the 3D type eyes that when you change positions, they would change.
Oh.
Because those were so cool.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, that was our number one story for this Saturday night. And that concludes tonight's podcast, I think, unless you guys have anything else you want to talk about, anything you want to bring up. I don't know what else is going on in the news because I haven't checked.
Well, there's a little story near where I live where this little 8-year-old girl was standing out in her front yard, and she just had this little pit bull. You know, she just got this little pit puppy, little pitty. And ironically, there was this guy walking down the road and said, "Hey, can I play with your puppy?" She said, "No." He took it and ran. He just stole it from her. That was one of the news stories the other night.
Well, I hope that pit bull eats his face off.
You must live in a pretty good area if that was the top leading story.
No, it wasn't the top. It was a filler. But it was sad. A little girl, 8-year-old, she said, "I want my puppy back."
That is sad. That's a tearjerker for sure. And I hope the dog eats his face and
The guy
tears his throat out.
probably saved her in the future for when that dog got a little older and is later dragging her through the house by her face. Right? I mean, let's be serious here. The guy probably did the whole family a favor.
I was waiting for you to shit stir this evening. I can't believe it took that long.
Not shit stirring. I'm just saying that there's a good chance that, yeah, the girl's sad because she doesn't have her fucking puppy dog. But
what was even sad, they showed her play in the front yard with a stuffed animal dog.
I thought you were going to say stick.
I thought that's where he was going with stick.
That would have been way sadder.
A stick?
Yeah.
No, she was just holding that stuffed animal going, "I want my puppy back."
I think I'm just turning into a sociopath now.
Pretty much.
I don't find that sad at all.
Don't got no feelings left.
No, I think it's I think the empathy once my kid got out of that age range, that my lack of empathy came back. Like a tide. You know, like the tides of the ocean. That was what my empathy came in when I had my kid. And now my kid's grown up and he's just a jerk. And it just kind of went back out.
Now it's gone.
No, it's just totally gone. I'm back to where I was before. Actually, that's not true. I get affected now by animal shit more than I ever have in my life.
That's the worst.
Yeah. I never really had that. It's not that I like reporting on animal cruelty stuff, and I think people that treat animals like shit like that, that always kind of angered me. But now with this dopey ass dog I got, that affects me tenfold when I see any dog stuff, and I don't read them. I don't even like reading them.
Correct.
Anymore.
Same here. I mean, I can read all the other stories all day long, no matter how vile, no matter how heinous. I cannot read the animal abuse stories.
Yeah, especially with dogs. I can't do the dog ones.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right, guys. I think we'll pull the plug on this one. Y'all let me know. Do some thinking if you guys want to do any type of a quick secondary type podcast. If you guys want to join in on any of those, I might try to pull a small little team together to do something with that. Get a secondary one, dude. Well, damn, dude, you got to start watching some damn movies. You don't seem to have the time to do that anymore.
I just watched a movie.
You watched fucking Rampage.
And hey, speaking of animals, George, the albino gorilla that The Rock saved and raised it. In this movie, you'll see what happened if you watch it. It's a kind of a tearjerker.
I'm going to have a hard time feeling bad for a CGI giant monkey. You actually got sad at Rampage? That's what you're telling me?
I didn't.
Yeah, I bet
But
you did.
I'm just saying.
I bet you
He did.
He did.
He's
could tell.
backtracking now.
He's walking it back, being hesitant.
Yep.
Did you cry during Rampage?
Fuck no. Fuck that gorilla.
Yeah. I'm gonna get around to watching it. It just wasn't high.
No, it's a good movie.
Yeah, I guess it's based off a video game. I just don't see how good it can possibly be. If it's stupid fun, then I can watch it for that.
Yeah, it's okay, man.
You need to invite him to that movie group.
Yeah, maybe I will. I just don't know if I'll have time to sit back and watch it or want to watch it because I don't know if he'll be alone. Some of these movies aren't things that you want your kids walking in on. I mean, they're not high gore ones or anything like that. But yeah, you watched that Francesca, and that was pretty good.
It was pretty good.
So
what about Mr. Rogers?
What about him?
That one? Heard that was a real tearjerker.
What the hell are you talking about?
The Mr. Rogers movie.
I haven't seen no Mr. Rogers.
There's a movie out about Mr. Rogers, like a documentary.
Oh yeah.
No.
Yeah. I thought I saw something about that.
No, he was a cool dude, but no, I didn't watch it. I didn't watch the show when I was a kid. I hated it. I truly hated it. And I hated when he would go into that fucking weird ass kingdom with them little fucking puppet people. I hated that.
That was my fucking favorite part.
I hated it. What was his name? Mr. Wednesday or fucking something like that?
Something.
King Wednesday or King Tuesday? I don't remember. I just hated it. The whole thing just freaked me the fuck out when I was a kid. I didn't like it.
I didn't like the cat.
Or that meow meow thing when you do that meow meow. Oh god, yeah, I hated that.
Yeah, it made sentences just by saying meow, and you were supposed to understand what it was saying.
Yeah,
let's take a walk to the bakery.
No,
see what they're baking.
You know what I liked when I was a kid?
They're baking some brownies.
When I was a kid, I liked the Jeffersons, and I liked Good Times. That's the shit I liked when I was a kid. I thought that was pretty good.
I liked Bob
Ross. What you talking about, honky?
and some of the cartoons back then I liked, but not all of them. They were pretty they were pretty horrible. Nostalgia has people looking at those cartoons a lot better than they really were.
Talking about the Jeffersons, you got to think of what George used to say to people. He called them honkies. He called them crackers. He called them zebras. He went on and on and on.
He was mean to Wheezy.
And he was mean to Wheezy and Florence and the British guy with the horse head.
Well, they could get away with it though, because kind of like an Al Bundy character, you were never supposed to look at him like he was in the right. That was the flaw of his character, that he thought he was smarter than what he actually was.
Right.
So it was kind of self-depreciating, so you could kind of get away with it. Archie Bunker did the same thing. He wasn't portrayed as being in the right. He was always portrayed as being kind of an ignorant, blue-collar type of guy. So he could get away with his ignorant viewpoints. Yeah, he was kind of a bigot, kind of.
But he was kind of goofy. Yeah, you couldn't take him seriously.
Right, you weren't supposed to. Right.
Right.
So I think that's why you can get away with it.
Yeah. It was kind of interesting, though, right?
I guess. Yeah. I like that. You seem to get away with a lot more back then, I think. I thought TV was a little bit better. I don't know. I say that. I enjoy a shitload of television shows lately, although I had to quit watching them. They were sucking up too much time. I've been playing this fucking Kingdom Come game, and it's taken a lot of my free time. Yeah, anyway, that yawn, that pretty much tells me to stop the stream. And hold on, don't go nowhere, guys, yet real quick.
Alrighty.
And yeah, we'll be back next week at some point. I don't know when. It'll be Friday or Saturday. So thanks for everybody who stopped by, and we will see you again at some point next week.
Bye.
See ya.